Hi, Essential Stencil. How are you doing today? I'm Sharon from the blog I Restore Stuff, here to show you some DIY stenciling tips and some crafty ideas for fall. And we'll be using some transfers today with the sunflower particular transfers. And we'll be also, I wanted to show you two projects today. So see if we've got time for this one, but I want to show you the Stencil of the Month Club stencils and recycle some old book covers, hard book covers, from hardcover books that are just really old and they were being thrown out. So, hey, I like to recycle and repurpose things, but let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm going to try and keep my eye on the comments here if I can find us. And let's see. I can see, oh, there we go. I can see them on the computer, so that's great. Oh, my friend Hope is here. Hey, Hope. And let's see, who else have we got? Liz, finally catching. Laurie from North Carolina. Kim is here. And Paula and Joyce. Lovely to see you all on. I'm just looking at my laptop here so that I can keep up with the comments as well. I don't know if you saw me painting this on my own I Restore Stuff page recently, but it's a huge toolbox. I actually bought two of these at what do you call them? Car boot sale, they call them here, but I don't know, we call it trunk. So like a trunk sale. I'm trying to translate it from Australian to the USA lingo. We call the car trunk a boot here in Australia. So we have a car boot sale. It's just generally markets for people who want to sell their stuff. And this guy was selling these handmade wooden toolboxes. And I want to use this one for my stencils. So I want to do some transfers on it today, some beautiful sunflower transfers, and also stencil some letters on here, stencil the word stencils. And I'll talk to you a little bit about our letter stencil. So if you're just joining us, don't forget you can order anything from the Essential Stencil site and get 10% off using my code I Restore Stuff. And another reminder, we give away prizes here at Essential Stencil. They're very generous, so we give away prizes to 3 lucky winners at the end of our live, so stay tuned. Join in the comments because that's where they pick the winners from. And if you are watching the replay, don't forget to comment the word replay somewhere in the comments, and they'll go through and choose a fourth winner after the live within the first 24 hours after that live. So this is the perfect size toolbox for some of my stencils. It has one extra slot here in the front, which I can fit sort of smaller stencils in here and larger ones here. A great little tote to carry around my stencils in. So the thing I wanted to talk to you about today, I've got the Stencil of the Month Club stencils. I'll have a look at those in a minute. For October, you can get yours now. And in fact, if you have not joined the Stencil of the Month Club yet, you can get 50% off your first month if you use my code, I Restore Stuff. It's at the link in the description of our live here. And I'm just going to lay this on its back because we're going to be working on this part here, and we're going to measure it up and use our Scrabble letters. Wow, so many of you jumping on and joining in. Yes, Dawn, I'm glad you got me live too. I love it. If you are here for the first time and have never seen one of our Essential Stencil lives, let us know in the comments too, because we love to know. And some of you, I know, sometimes say, I've ordered my very first lot of stencils and so excited to use them. And that's why as ambassadors, we come on here and just show you all our tips and tricks and hints on best tips for stenciling and that kind of thing. Give you some inspiration, hopefully, to think outside the box. And because the stencils can all be rearranged and used in so many different ways. Today I'll be using the letter set, which is the Scrabble letter stencils. And they look like this. There's the letter A with the little number 1 there, like a Scrabble tile. So I've picked out all the ones that I will need for the word stencil. But I just wanted to show you a moment some of the other if you're new to stenciling, or if you haven't, if you're just sort of starting out your collection of stencils to be able to use for sign making, making things, placing on furniture items or decor items, there's so many things that you can stencil on. You can stencil serving trays, book stacks. I've done stenciling on those before. But there's so many things you'd be versatile with all of the stencils. But one great thing to have in your stencil toolkit as a bit of a staple are some kind of lettering sets that you can form your own words. You know, you might want to make your family name out of the letters, that kind of thing. So there are a bunch of large, all sorts of sizes, and I don't have these listed in the description, but if you use my code, I restore stuff at the checkout when you're ordering, it'll still come up when you do a search at essentialstencil.com to find all these. If you just search letters, that'll bring up all of the different letter sets. So we've got the 5-inch bold letters. These are large bold letters. We've got the Algerian style font in the bold letters, A to Z, and this one is it's just A to Z letters, 5-inch set. Those are another style font. Those are the larger ones. Also numbers, we've got numbers as well. These are some of the other ones. We've got a script font, and those are much smaller letters. The letters are 2-inch, so 2-inch script font. Comes in all of those different styles. We've got the 2-inch Roman serif letters. And so from these, and you can see we've got symbols and everything on there as well. And then of course our cute 2-inch skinny letters stencils set as well, which is very similar to that Ray Dunn type font that you see around the place. So that's just some of the ones you can choose from to create this. Yes, Elise is saying, I love the Algerian font. That's been a really popular one actually. So today I'm using our Scrabble tile one. I'll just try and move this. This is the cute transfers that I'm going to be showing you. I just want to place those on here, and I'll show you how easy they are to use in just a little minute. Some handy scrap paper so that I can offload my brush, which is a really important part of our stenciling process. And here I've chosen all the letters that I'll need for the word stencil, and then I'll put the transfers on the side. Now this is quite rough, and I've just painted it with a background of a blue furniture paint that I had on hand. It's the colour Blue Pine from Fusion Mineral Paint, if you're looking for that. All right, so we have all the letters for stencils, and I will add the S then again at the end. Let's see if I've spelt that correctly. STENCIL, and then we'll put the S at the end. So what I've done is, I'll shift those down slightly. We have to measure to kind of get the center. So I have done that by just measuring with a measuring tape. Find your center marker, and I've put a little pencil mark right here. But I do want to account for that most of the letters are exactly the same width. Even the top of the T is the same width as the N. If you put them over the top of each other, you can see that. However, the I is a very skinny letter, and it's not the same width. So in doing my placement earlier and trying to sort of figure it out how I'd go, and if you've watched me for any length of time, you know I like to eyeball things and just kind of, but I felt like I had to kind of have a little bit more precise measurement today, because what I'm also going to do, I'm not going to be putting my letters, butting them together right at the edge here. I'm not going to be putting them together like this. I'm actually going to be overlapping. I'm going to also not use the little numbers that come with the stencil, you know, this Scrabble tile feature. So I'm going to be putting my letters a lot closer together, more like this. So what I had to account for was the skinny I and the fact that I'm going to move all the letters a lot closer together as we do it. All right, so there's 8 letters in the word stencils. I know you can only see 7 here, but remember we're putting the S also at the end. So there's 8 letters, so 4 will be on this side, 4 will be on that side. So this is the side that has the really skinny letter I. So I'm going to have to account for that and just move it slightly across. And by my rough and very rough calculations, here's my center line. Instead of putting the N and the C either side of that center line, I'm going to line up my N so that that is actually the center. And I'm just going to go from there. So if you got all of that, that was my rough calculation. Maggie's saying, is that stencil available? I'm hoping you're meaning this one. The Scrabble tiles are, yes, and I've got the link in the description of the live. Sorry if I don't catch all of your questions, but our wonderful viewers are so helpful that you all help each other in answering some of those questions that are in the comments there, which is amazing. Now, I just do have to also make sure I'm being fairly straight because I don't want to get to the end of my stencil and kind of get it all sort of wonky going up this way. So I've got to kind of make it a bit more level. I could do that with a ruler. Let's just use our little transfer stick that comes with the transfer thing at the moment to just kind of make sure we've got that all level. So here's my center mark. I'm going to start with my N, and I'm going to use a white to stencil the word stencil on. And I'm just using a mineral paint. It's just a water-based acrylic-based paint that I stock here in Australia. I'm an Australian retailer for a few different furniture type paints. Now I'm going to use this 3/4 inch stencil. The Essential Stencil has a set of 4 stencil brushes. Sorry, it's going in and out of focus there. I'll try and keep still. And you can use my code iRestoreStuff and put that in your order, and that comes off those as well. Thank you, Rhonda, saying I'm helpful in describing and the description of what we're doing here. Okay, the other thing is we need a scrap paper. This is just junk printer paper that we needed to throw out. So instead of throwing it out, I'm going to use it for my offloading paper. I'm just going to dip the very tips of my brush into the paint. I could actually, without flicking it, wipe a little bit off the edge. It's sometimes a bit hard not to flick that paint everywhere and get it splatters. And then I'm going to just offload that, and you can't see it very well because I'm using white paint on white. But I'm basically offloading as much as I can from the brush so that if you look at that, let's see if we can focus, there's barely any paint. You can't see that it's sticking the bristles together. It looks like it's fairly well dried off. So let's see how we go with putting that on. I do want to, however, put my little piece of tape over that number 1 there. Who plays Scrabble here? I'd love to know. Number 1 represents the point score that you get in Scrabble, doesn't it? So there we go. Letter N is worth 1 point. What have we got here? C is worth 3 points. They all have different score values. So there we go. So even though I've rubbed off most of the paint off my brush and I offloaded it onto the paper, look how much is still coming onto the, let me see if I can dip you down slightly more, and I've got this handy dandy zooming in. Whoops, yep, that's the right way, zooming in there for you. Let's see, if I take that off, nice and crisp lettering there for the letter N. Oh, I do hope that was the right way around. I think it is. I just have to check my live here because on my camera, yep, we're the right way around. I'm thankful for that. Okay, so there we go. I could just reuse this little tape for my next letter. Let's go over here to the E. And what I want to do is look where that N is, and you can see through these My Last stencils, so that's handy. I also want to make sure that my letters are lined up straight across the top and put it together there. You could also use some painter's tape too for taping down your stencil so it doesn't move about while you're stenciling it. So we can just add that there. So notice I'm putting the letters close together because to space them out this far apart is going to look a little bit too odd. All right, I haven't added any paint to the brush. I'm just going to see if we've got enough here. Now the reason we do that offloading, and it might be getting a little bit dry, we'll see. The reason we do that offloading is so that we don't get bleed of paint going underneath and creating fuzzy edges for us when we stencil. So if you've ever had that experience before, it just kind of stops that messy look. Thank you guys so much for sharing the live too. I know some of you have said you've sprinkled the live and sharing the love around Facebook land. If you want to do that on your page or tag a friend, send it through to them on Messenger if you know they'd be interested in how to stencil and create different fun projects like this. So we're talking about lettering today and using different letter stencils to join them together and create a sign. I'm also going to be showing you some transfers, the brand new transfers from Essential Stencil, and how you can add those to enhance your projects. Okay, we've got the E. And now taping that little one off again. And then we've got the E and the N. We're looking good so far. We've got our letters lined up straight. Trying to look at my space here to make sure it's around about the same space there. I'm just going to hold this one down and see if I can move a little bit faster. Deborah says she loves this toolbox. Found an old one at the flea market for $5. Yeah, great for paint brushes and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I do need to dip my brush in again. Whoops, I think I got too much then. Offloading it here on my paper. Julie says, making sure that my letters are straight is your problem. I check and recheck and recheck. So you haven't added another set to your collection because of that. Yeah, no, it takes a little bit of practice, but use something like this and you've got a good tool to make sure that they're straight, or you can even pencil in a guideline in the background and then, you know, make sure that you follow that guideline, the little guide. Well, that one's a little bit brighter. I don't know if you can see that, but feels a little bit brighter. Okay, now our letter S, taping off our number 1 again. I'm excited to use my new stencil toolbox. I've probably got too many stencils. It probably fills it right up, I'll have to see. But at least this way I can carry, and it probably will be heavy too. They can get quite heavy if you've got a number of them. But yeah, I'll have to see how many I can fit in here. Okay, just kind of measuring, giving an eyeball, making sure we're straight. And hold that tight again, but again, you can tape it down if you feel you need to. All right, super quick, that one. Okay, so we've got our letter S. Now we're going to need that one for the very end again, so put that one aside. Moving across to this side of our words. Again, looking at our little space here to sort of make sure it's the same. You could measure if you want, but hey, I'm just going to eyeball it. Tape over our number. It's around about the same lot of spacing. The only thing that I may not get exactly accurate is just the centering of the whole word on the toolbox. And if you missed that part, you'll see in the beginning where I measured but compensated for the very skinny letter I that we'll be doing next, because all of the other letters have the same width. So, you know, I hope that makes sense to why I did it that way and just moved that end to the center instead of off that way to the center. Anyway, when I do the transfers in just a minute, if there was any kind of, you know, mistake with centering it exactly, I'm hoping that I can just kind of cover it up by the fact that we've got some beautiful transfers either side, and, you know, we'll make it look beautiful. Okay, we've got our taping off our number 1, and that I, again, I haven't dipped my brush in for about a few stencils now, a few letters. I, got the L, tape over the 1. Again, you know, I'm not sure. Yeah, we're going great. Great so far, so good. Put that one aside. See if I need to. And notice how I'm just keep going with what's on the brush. And if it gets too light, we can always dip it in more and add some more in a minute. But so far it's still looking great, and I do like that rustic kind of a look. And here's our letter S again for the last one. Let's see, lining it up pretty well. Do they have stencils the size of real Scrabble letters? Oh, Mary, I don't think so. They would be so tiny, wouldn't they? I'm just going to have to dip my brush in for my last letter S. Offloading here, because real Scrabble letters are super tiny. There's none that size. These are the smallest letters that are probably available. In fact, if I used any of those great big large ones that I showed you at the beginning of the live, it would actually be too big for my toolbox. So there we go. There's the lettering. I'm going to pop this brush in a damp cloth because I don't want to dip it in water just yet, because I may end up using it again for something else. So let's just have a look at that. We've got our letters perfectly lined up there, and now I can add, hey, they didn't go too badly. Looking pretty straight, if I do say so. Let me just zoom back out again. And we're going to stick some sunflowers on now. So, finished with my letters, and I will just pop those in the sink to wash off or wipe off. And moving on to our transfers. Who's got the transfers? If you missed out on getting the bundle, that's not available anymore as a bundle, but you can still get any of the transfers using the link. I've got the link right there in the description of the live. And I'm just trying to get a good old, might zoom in a bit here in a second. But guys, if you don't have these beautiful fall transfers yet, you want to get in quick because they are slowly running out. There's one set that is completely sold out. There are still sunflower sets left, so I'll give you that clue, and I can't wait to be using those today. There's fall pumpkin, beautiful fall pumpkin sets. If you haven't seen those, the link is right there in the description of my live for the transfers. And don't forget to use my code iRestoreStuff, get you 10% off. Great value. Okay, let's see. Leah, lots of people saying, can't wait to get my transfers. Yep, they are shipping very, very soon. So here is this one here. What I'm going to do is, and I forgot to get my scissors out of the kitchen drawer again. Let me just reach. What I'm going to do is some flower arranging. Now, I'm not a florist, so bear with me. But with the transfers, different to stencils, the stencils I don't tend to cut them out because they're multi-use and you can use them as a whole and lots of different ways. But the transfers are single use, and so I'm going to cut some out. One that I do want to use, this one's like a bunch of the sunflowers in here. And when you get your sunflower sets, it may be slightly different to mine because I know as Ambassador's got some sample products of these, and so these are my samples, so yours may not be exactly the same. However, I love these white, they're dandelions, aren't they? They're not sunflowers. These little white ones. Oh, and this is cute too. Not sure which ones I'll use yet, but we'll play flower arranging here on my box and see how we go. These leaves, they look cute too. So, you know, you could get a leaf and put a sunflower sort of just overlapping that leaf also, and do a little bit of arranging here on the box. So let's see how we go. I'll have to sort of tip it up slightly. Let's do the first one. First is this one that's already got sort of a bunch of sunflowers together. And I think that will look great on this corner over here. So I'll just move these out of the way for a minute while we do that one. And then we'll do some flower arranging. And I said I'm no florist, but hey, we're going to give it a go. And where's that? I've lost my stick that I was using before. Here it is. So this will come with your transfers. And it's just a handy tool to use to rub the transfers on. Okay, so here's our transfer. I'm just going to place that right down at the bottom here. I could add something else in behind that. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, there's also some cute greenery from another one of the transfers there too. And like I said, I've had a look at the transfers, and the stock levels are kind of going down. So if you want some of these, grab those sunflower ones today. So you can stick another sunflower in here and pop that in behind. But this is already a group of 3. I just thought, let's see these dandelion. Is it dandelions? Oh, where's that one? One of these. They're sort of about the same shape. That might even be cute in behind there also. So if you're going to layer them like this, put the one that you want behind automatically behind it before you put on the next one. So I might give that a go. Let's see how that would work. And just adding a little bit of height and dimension to our thing there. Hang on, let me see if I can zoom in. Well, there we go. How's that? Thank you to my clever husband who set this up for me. Thank you, Kimberly, for sprinkling. And yep, Tonde, is it? I love all the sunflower emojis. They're all coming out. Okay, so I've got that placed around about where I want it, and I want these ones to sort of come out here, I think. That looks great. So, whoop, I think about where I'm putting this. You take away the backing and then place your transfer directly down, and we've got a nice dark background here, so these light coloured sunflowers and dandelions will stand out nicely, I think. So here we go. All we're doing is rubbing on with the stick, and you can almost see the transfer coming off. And if you've watched any of the other lives that the ambassadors have been doing, see how quick and easy it is to just add a transfer and really enhance, you know, your whole stencil project, your sign making, all of that kind of thing. And yes, there will be Christmas transfers coming soon. Not sure when, but just stay tuned. If you're not on Essential Stencil's email list yet, I would recommend getting on that. Also the app, the Essential Stencil app, you can use my code I Restore Stuff in the app also. All right, so just peeling that off very carefully and just making sure that none of the transfer is sticking to the paper. I can see that none of it's sticking. It's all really clean. Whoops, sorry, focusing there. All really clean. So now we've got beautiful transfer there. You just want to rub your fingers over the top of it, just make sure it's well stuck down, which it is. And then just going to have a little play, remembering where I put this one and seeing where the background one came out. So you can layer them. Last week, I saw Grace do the transfers on fabric. Did anyone see that? I told her, wow, girl, I got to go watch her live. So I did. I went and watched her live and saw how she put them on fabric. Amazing. They can be put on so many things. Last week I did pumpkin on a really dark, like a black background, and that really was interesting to see that pop. Okay, we've got it in place. I'm just going systematically around. Well, you know, you can test out to see if your transfer's gone through by just lifting to see if it's stuck down. Thank you all so much for sharing our lives and for using our codes, because that benefits you and it benefits me. So thank you so much for using my code I Restore Stuff when you order from Essential Stencil. And if you're not in the Stencil of the Month Club yet, I would love to show you another little project, if we have time very soon, using their October Stencil of the Month set, which is beautiful, all fall related. And you can join for 50% off your first month using my code I Restore Stuff. Let's see how we're going here. Just doing a little test. Yeah, it's going great. Just got a little bit to go up here. I love sunflowers. I've been waiting to use these ones for a while. Since I got them. I used some pumpkin ones last time, but these sunflowers are gorgeous. Okay, we've got it. Super clean, no little bits left. And so just putting your hand over that to make sure, you know, see if it's all done. Now people ask about, are you going to seal it? Yes, I probably will. Just seal it with some wipe-on poly. And there we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's just do this last one over here. Well, we were going to flower arrange, weren't we? So let me zoom over here. Let's see if we can play florist. I'd love to hear ideas. Now they say to do it in threes. Oh, here's a little branch here. That might be handy. See, we've got leaves, so you can... Some flower arranging before I was rudely interrupted by my camera battery dying. I feel like let's do this one instead. We need to do sort of in things of 3. I do like these little dandelions that are tall, skinny ones here. So if you are just joining this live and you missed the first part, there'll be 2 lives, disjointed a little bit, I know, but here we go. So we've got these leaves kind of hanging out down the bottom there. Then we probably want to layer them like so, because the leaves seems to be that they would be better at the background. Might lift those up to here and then just add a little sunflower down the bottom. Let's see how we go. So we're taking off our layered pieces one at a time in the order that we think might be good. And let's see, how far down did I go with that? I could probably go down a little further, couldn't I? Let's just try that again. Oh, I was going to put the sunflower down the bottom. That's why I did that. And then the sunflower down the bottom. Okay, let's see if I can remember that. And we've put the leaf here. So I'm just going to take that off right there. I forgot to go right out to the edge. Place it in exactly the right spot. Well, this is me guessing again where I was. Take our little fabulous tongue depressor. Let's call it a transfer tool. And we're just rubbing really easily along there. And if you've just joined us again, we are back and transferring gorgeous sunflower transfers from the fall collection, Essential Stencils brand new fall collection of transfers. That one turned out beautifully. And then we're going to go with this one. So we're just going to take the backing off so you can see the transfer right there. Place it down where you'd like it. I'm going to pop it right there, and I'm just layering these one at a time over each other. I'm playing florist. I'm going to do some flower arranging here. So thanks so much for rejoining the live here. We just had a little technical faux pas where I forgot to check if the power was plugged into my camera. But we're back, and enjoying these beautiful transfers. And I was saying earlier that there's limited quantities left because these are seasonal transfers. So if you do want these sunflower ones, grab them quick. You can use my code iRestoreStuff. Make sure you do that. Here we go, just placing this one, oh, just like that. Let's see. And so when you use that code, you'll get 10% off your whole entire order. So that includes brushes, all of the stencils from Essential Stencil, the transfers, even their wooden tags, the mini tags that are great for beautiful tray decor and things like that. So if there's anything you're looking for in particular as far as stencils, themes of stencils and things like that, just do a little search on their search bar, pretty handy in Essential Stencil. Right, this was super easy. Last one, we're going to place our sunflower. How's that looking? See how we're kind of layering that there? And this sunflower will just tie it all in together, I think. If I can find a fun spot for it there. And we are going to place it over the top of those lower stems. So let's just do that. Randomly placing. I know lots of you have ordered the transfers and eagerly awaiting their arrival. Shipment should be very, very soon. And the key is just making sure that all of the areas are completely rubbed on. So they layer over the top of each other quite nicely. And on the last week's live, I showed you how you can actually stencil over the top of it. So we used one of the pumpkin stencils that had quite a nice area that you could fit words on. So just, again, lifting it up. And I haven't found a good example of this actually lifting off and leaving any transfer left on the plastic, which can sometimes happen, but you just lay it back down and then just rub it on again. So there we go. Isn't that gorgeous? And that kind of feels like it's all just made as one. It's really, really quite easy to layer them and create a floral arrangement. So let me just move those out the way and I'll show you my full look there. Let's see if we can see that. My stencil box, isn't that gorgeous? All right, so that should fit a whole bunch of stencils in it. Let me just zoom on really quickly to showing you the stencil of the month for October, because I just wanted to show you a quick recycling tip on, these are hard-covered books, and I removed the spines from them and used the actual books to create those book stacks, which are great decor. Sorry you can't see my face there, but hey. So I used these for the book stacks, and then I thought, what am I going to use with these hard covers? Because they could be handy for something. So just make some fun fall decor using these, and some quick tips on stenciling using the Stencil of the Month Club stencils this month. So we've got October stencils ready to go. They include this gorgeous patterned leaves, which I'll be using today, some cute signs. So we've got some other gorgeous signs right here. This is one of my favorites. Leftovers are for quitters. And I think even without the turkey there, see, in Australia we don't have Thanksgiving, so I would probably leave the turkey out, and that would be appropriate for a Christmas dinner as well, right? You know, because everyone just, over here it's kind of like, there's so much good food, you don't want to leave it any behind. I'm here for the pie, I love that, fun one. And so every Stencil of the Month stencil set comes in a set of 3, and then you've got also a gorgeous add-on, which the add-on this month, oh, where'd it go? I had it right here, here it is this beautiful wreath, beautiful full wreath with 2 little sayings that you can put right there inside the wreath. So that is also available, stencilofthemonthclub.com. Use my code IRestoreStuff to get you 50% off your first month if you haven't joined the club already. But club members will vouch for the fact that the Facebook group that you get invited to when you're a Stencil of the Month Club member is really fantastic. I'm going to just be using a couple of dark colours, fallish colours I feel like they are. And I know that the background is black, but I want to be putting a saying on top of this leaf background. I have to try and open that a bit better. So I had this idea. Let's see if it works. We've got our, let's see if I can fit this in the image here. Offloading paper here. A few various different paints. We've got mustard colour. And what I'm going to do is use a little bit of each of them and just kind of make a bit of a blendy, darkish background, and then use white to pop the saying out from that. So let me see if I can catch your comments here, guys. Yes, Jennifer's vouching for the fact that Stencil of the Month Club is awesome. The community and the support is really great. There are some really talented stencilers in the group. Okay, so starting with this little brush, another Essential Stencil brush in your set of 4 brushes, using the mustard colour, offloading the brush, holding it down. Now, my book cover that I'm recycling here has a black background, and it just goes over the outsides of it. So I'm just kind of centering it there, and I'm going to start, just had this idea of just randomly doing a few different leaves in mustard and not even really having any rhyme or reason to it, just, and quite rustic and rough. So I want the background to be not perfectly sharp and crisp, and then I don't even care if the colours all sort of blend together. So there's the mustard. Let's do this cranberry kind of colour. I'm just using some Fusion Mineral paints, just a furniture paint, and Let's have another go. So this is just a cranberry red colour. And again, just some random leaves. And the reason I'm doing dark colours on a dark background is because I don't want it to be, I want it to sort of be a background. And so the letters of the sign, when I put them on top, will stand out more. So let's see, where else do I need one? In the centre there. Hopefully these are, let's see how that's looking. Oh, yep. And see, some are going over the top of other leaves, but that's okay. Let's see, we've got a dark green here. I'm going to run out of brushes, I think. Oh, dark green. Whoop. Just trying to catch your comments at the same time. Oh yeah, they do. Stencil of the Month Club have so much awesome talent in the group. You just sit there watching other people post their pictures, and post your own too, because if you are in the Stencil of the Month Club, don't be shy for posting your pictures in the Facebook group, because there's lots that we can all teach each other, I believe. So don't be shy. Okay, random greens. Let's see if I've probably missed some spots. Might have to find some other colours. I know that I'm getting some on my bench here. I'm not sure if that green is standing, oh, it's standing out a little bit. It's not too bad. Okay, what other colours can I do? I've got this sage colour. Could even mix some colours, you know. So let's say, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. This might be a bit too light of a colour, this sage. I don't know if you can see that there. It's kind of a bit lighter. So I might have to be a bit rougher with how that one turns out. As in, like, not press so heavily so that it looks a little bit more rustic. I've done that on some things before and it kind of has a nice weathered look about it. That one. Let's see. Can't tell which ones I've done. I think I've missed these ones. I might just add, what colour should I add? You can kind of see mustard. There's no green next to that. Let's see if we can get green on there. Making a background for a sign if you've just arrived. Thank you so much for joining in on the live. And if you want to follow me for more DIY and furniture painting tips, you can follow my blog over at irestorestuff.com. I think I'll add another red next to that red. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, all of the places. All right, so I think I've coloured in all the leaves. Maybe another mustard, a little touch. Where did it go? Here it is. I'll have a sneak peek. Oh yeah, that's looking lovely. Who knew? Who knew it would look so great? Let me put that up close for you, see if you can see that. Yeah, so if you're joining the Stencil of the Month Club, it's stencilofthemonthclub.com. Use my code iRestoreStuff and you can get 50% off the first month. We've got gorgeous fall designs here for you in the October set. And each month you're sent out a set of 3 stencils, plus if you choose the add-on, you get that one too. That's optional. I believe there are 3, 6 and 12 month stencil options, membership options. So, oops, I've got a little mess happening over there. All right, so to do our sign, I'm going to use a white white paint, and I think I had a white brush over here. So I'm finished with all of these brushes, the coloured, all the fall colours, pop them away. So now we're going to use this, and that, because I did it so lightly, I haven't got lots of thick paint on there. You'll notice that it's really dried quite quickly. I can rub my hands over that and it's all dry, ready to go. I like that. I didn't even practice that. I'm like, oh, that turned out pretty good. Okay, so here's one of the signs from the Stencil of the Month Club. Grateful for small things, big things, and everything in between. I think that's just beautiful. And of course, if you just missed the beginning of this part 2, this is a recycled book cover from a hardcover book that I ripped the covers off so that I could do one of those naked book stacks, I think you call them, and use them for decor. So I'm reusing. I love reusing, recycling, repurposing. And so now I'm going to get my sign and try and place it in the center of this. And you can hang it in a variety of different ways, or just use the book cover, use it just like a sign to sit on a mantelpiece or something like that. If you wanted to. What I should do, also I should mention this, is if you notice on the edges, it's a nice black edge, this side, and this side. But this side, because that's where I cut the book cover off, it does have a little bit of a white that shows somewhere. So you could get your paintbrush and just paint that edge black so that it helps to blend those sides in. Okay, here we go. We'll just add our sign. And don't go anywhere because there's prize winners today, as with every Essential Stencil live. We do prize giveaways. If you're watching the replay, comment the word replay and you have a chance to win within 24 hours of the live. Now let's see, we're going to have a little bit scrappy on that one. Running out of room. So we've got our white brush here, wiping off the sides on the edge. And, oh, have I put that too far down? There we go, back there a little bit. Offloading that white onto just some scrap paper, looking for the center, kind of eyeballing that. I'm just going to hold this in place. You could tape it down. It would only tape down on that one edge though, because there's no other places to tape it down. And because I've offloaded most of the white from in here, you'll be able to see how nicely this pops. And I've offloaded so that we don't have all that fuzzy edges on our letters because of bleeding underneath the stencil. So that's the key, is just having hardly any paint on your brush. And I always tell people, practice on a piece of paper, just a piece of scrap paper from your printer or somewhere. I use cardboard from cardboard boxes, cereal boxes, turn them inside out. Practice your stenciling on there before you try it on your real furniture or your real sign or your real decor project that you're about to do. So I've used that same lot of paint from that brush, and it's just starting to run out towards the end here, but I think I'm just going to give it a good old, a little bit of a harder swirl into the letters to see if we can really not have to load it up again. Let's see how we go. Ta-da! And there we go. Gorgeous ball sign that's nice and crisp on the edges because we offloaded the brush as much as we could before we stenciled it. So there you go, folks. We are ready to pick out some prize winners, and let me just grab our stencil projects from today. My big toolbox. If you missed that, we do have a part 1 before I kind of went offline for a brief moment there and got myself sorted to go on our part 2. So let me just, oops, I can't reach. I wanted to reach this so I can lift it back up and say hello. And I'll be looking for the prize winners. That Essential Stencil will pop up there for you. But here's what we worked on today. So there was that project that I just finished. Quick one with the Stencil of the Month Club for this month. Don't forget to grab that. 50% off your first month if you haven't joined. And the gorgeous sunflower transfers. There are still some available. There's one of the sets that's sold out of the pumpkins. So if you're looking for those gorgeous fall transfers, please jump in and get those today. Use my code iRestoreStuff to get you 10% off. And let's have a look. We've got congratulations winners, and here they are. Let me see and call out your names: Deb, Tammy and Linda. Congratulations, and thank you so much for joining me on our little bit of disjointed live today. So if you missed the beginning, you'll look for part 1, the first part of my live from today. It'll just be in the Essential Stencil Facebook page. Just scroll back a bit to the other live and you'll catch the beginning of our project, how I lined up all these letters to create the word stencils for my brand new stencil toolbox. And that's going to fit in my stencils just perfectly right here. I'll see how many I can fit in there. So you'll find that on the first part, and part 2 we've got the finish of that toolbox and also this gorgeous little fall decor sign here. So thanks so much for joining me today. I will see you again for another live next week. Congratulations to our winners. Don't forget to let Essential Stencil know where to send them. Join me over on my page, I Restore Stuff, or Instagram, or any of the platforms where I am. See ya.